I would like for you to imagine that you are in a room with 10 or 20 other people. Nice people, but relative strangers. And then I walked up to the front of the room and said, I would like to speak to all of you for just a moment. I have some things that I'm not going to be able to take with me when I leave 5 minutes from now. And what I'm hoping is that you will all work together to figure out an equitable way to distribute these things among yourselves so that everybody feels like they've gotten their fair share, no one's been cheated, and everyone walks away feeling great. So would you be willing to try that with me? Thank you. Okay, so here are the things. This is the deed to my home in Salem, Oregon, and we have a couple of timeshare properties, so I'm not going to be able to take those with me. This is the title to a RAV4. Nice car. Not terribly fancy, but very, very functional. And then these are some recent bank statements. And in this file, I have some investment statements. And, I'm not going to be able to take this jewelry with me. And I have this box of things that are very special to me. They were either jewelry gifts from my husband or items that I inherited from my mother and Aunt Jean. So they're just very special to my heart. But I'm not going to be able to take them with me. So I'm going to leave all of these things to you, and I'm going to trust that you can work it out, that you can figure out what to do so that everybody feels like they got their fair share. You think that's possible? Well, probably. And you know why? Because none of you have ever awakened in my house on Christmas morning. None of you have ever snuggled on the couch with me as I read children's stories to you. Nobody here has any idea of the stories or the love that these rings symbolize. None of you knew my mother or my Aunt Jean, and you wouldn't feel entitled to any of these pieces of jewelry that had once belonged to them. So that would be pretty easy. You could just all decide to sell everything, cash in the investments, and cash out the checking accounts and savings accounts, split it between you equally, and you'd all move on happily, right? Pretty likely that you could do that. Now, imagine that these were your things instead of my things, and the people in the room were your children or your siblings or cousins, or nieces and nephews, or maybe your stepchildren, and maybe all of their spouses. And they're trying to decide how to divvy up your things. Do you think they would ever have any conflict or disagreement about who would get what? Have you promised anything to anybody? Do they think that they are entitled to certain things that belong to you now? And maybe somebody else disagrees? What if you ended up in the hospital and there was the decision between life support or not life support? Do you think everybody that cares about you and loves you would have the same opinion? Maybe, but maybe not. This is why it's so important to me to encourage you to take the time and make the effort to get your end-of-life documents in order. You may just be hoping that everything will work out, but I can tell you from my own experience as being the executor for my parents' estate and the personal representative for my Aunt Jean, nothing ever just works out. If you don't plan your end-of-life health care and finances carefully, there can be disastrous consequences. There can be damage to relationships among family members that will never, ever heal. So I would just really encourage you to invest the time and the money you need in order to get your most important and basic end-of-life documents in order. I believe it could be the most generous and lasting gift you will ever give to your children and the people who love you.